It's November 2024, and I have no future flights booked on Delta. As a matter of fact, the last time I took a Delta flight was almost 1 month ago. This video is about my relationship with Delta and how things went in the last year as a Platinum Medallion. So as many of you know, I'm a very frequent Delta flyer, but I don't always talk about Delta Airlines in my videos because I focus on my flights more from an aviation perspective than a perspective of a passenger flying on a specific airline. But it is very clear that I'm flying primarily on Delta Airlines. You can tell by the terminal that I'm flying out of LaGuardia Airport and some very few interior photos of the aircraft, but it's almost always Delta Airlines. On occasion, I do fly other carriers, but for the most part, it's been Delta. And I have had a great relationship over the past 5 years or so because for quite some time, I was a Delta Medallion on Delta Airlines. Now, toward the beginning of this year and part of the last year, I did put out a couple of videos on changes to the Delta Medallion Program and the fact that I was going to be losing my Delta Diamond Medallion status because of the changes that were put in. And the changes were pretty drastic. Now, I had always thought that I was going to be a Delta Diamond Medallion for many years to come in the future. But because the spending thresholds were so high, my status was reduced to a Platinum Medallion. And because of this, I have different feelings about how I spend my money with Delta. In the long run, I'm actually saving money. I'm saving a lot of money because I cannot get to the spending thresholds that Delta is asking for to get to status. Delta removed some of the other requirements about a year ago in terms of how to get to medallion status. Previously, you had to fly X amount of miles, you had to take X amount of flights, or spend X amount of money, or a combination of those. Well, those have been removed, and the only thing that you need to do is spend X amount of dollars. The problem is that the spending levels are extremely high. Now, when I was a Diamond Medallion, there's a little bit of a history here. I always spent less than I really needed to get to that particular level of status. So Diamond Medallion levels were spending $15,000. And once you spend $15,000 combined with other metrics, you get Diamond Medallion status. And each year I would spend around $13,000 with Delta Airlines. And I said, well, it's not enough. So I would do things to get to $15,000. I would do mileage runs. I might have purchased a more expensive fare class, not necessarily a seat in first class, but a ticket that was just more expensive than a regular main cabin fare just to get to $15,000 each year. So around this time of the year, November, December, I would often take extra flights, mileage runs, just to get to that particular spending level. And those mileage runs, well, those days are over. I'm finding myself flying Delta Airlines or just flying in general less and less. I'm saving money. I'm saving lots of money because I'm not really encouraged to spend more to get to these other levels of status. And that has had significant impact on my bottom line. Delta Airlines, however, is not getting my money, but from what it seems, they've derived some sort of concept to combine with credit card companies, specifically American Express, to get more revenue that way. Well, let me tell you, that is not going to work with me. Will I continue to fly Delta Airlines? Yes. Will I be flying Delta Airlines less and less? Yes, I will. So ultimately, there are two things that I want to express. Number one, the fact that I'm spending less money. And number two, I, in general, feel less special. Now, regarding number two, feeling less special, it's not a huge deal because when I fly, I really focus on the flight itself and not so much the amenities. But because I was made to feel very special over several years, Now that I'm not in the Diamond Medallion category anymore, this entire year, I did not feel as special as I used to. Let me just tell you this directly. Going to the Sky Club is a privilege. It's not a necessity. I don't have to do it, but I kind of felt extra welcome with the airline when I was invited as a Diamond Medallion via choice benefits to get into the Sky Club. Yes, there are other ways for me to get into the Sky Club. I could have a certain type of credit card that allows me to get visits, but I'm really discouraged from spending more money on that type of credit card because all of the other changes that Delta has made where they want more money for me to get to the status. So I'm at a point where I'm saying enough is enough. I'm going to live without the Sky Club. But it was always great when I was actually in the Sky Club. I was treated very well. It was nice to go into the Sky Club, scan your boarding pass with your phone. It would say, thank you for being a Diamond Medallion. And then people would actually tell you, thank you for being a Diamond Medallion. Things have changed quite considerably. As a matter of fact, this entire year, I was only thanked one time for being a Platinum Medallion. I do feel less special. That one time when I was thanked for being a Platinum Medallion, I almost wanted to say, I was a Diamond for so many years, but Delta just made it very difficult to get to this level. So what's the obsession with being a Diamond Medallion? Again, it is a privilege. It is not a necessity, but I was made to feel really good. I was almost always number one on the upgrade list, and I had Sky Club access. I do not have that anymore. The spending thresholds, I'm telling you, they really changed. To get to Diamond Medallion status these days, you need to spend $28,000. But it's not just $28,000 on flights. So that generally would make the process easier for some people because Delta now allows money that you spend on your Delta branded credit card to apply towards flights. However, with the lifestyle that I have, I do not spend enough money on my credit card, so there's absolutely no way that I can get to $28,000. Right now, for 2025, I have reached the level of gold medallion status only based upon the flights that I took, as well as the money that I spent on my Delta branded credit card. And again, I'm going to be very clear. I am not spending any more money on a higher level card to get even more points. I'm just keeping what I have because I'm done with spending money. So I am a gold medallion according to the money that I spent for this year. However, I will actually be a Platinum Medallion because I had rollover miles that Delta allowed me to apply to the following year. So I essentially did not have to spend any money at all in 2024 to get to medallion status. The Platinum Medallion status basically is just coming to me because of these extra miles that have been rolled over because of all the changes in the Delta Medallion program. So that's one reason why I didn't fly Delta as often as I normally would have flown Delta because, well, the Platinum status came to me already. And the other reason is, well, in the future, it's really just not going to make any sense to try to spend $28,000 a year to get to Diamond status because I just can't do it. So because of that, I am seeking out the cheapest flights on Delta. And as you know, if you watch my channel very often, I'm flying very often between New York and Florida. I am specifically searching for days when the flights are the lowest prices, and I'm getting one-way fares in main cabin as low as $99. Now, if I put myself on the upgrade list, I am often no longer near the top. So I'm saving money, but the downside is that I'm probably not going to get the upgrade because that's going to be reserved to some Diamond Medallions like I used to be at the very top of the list. So overall, I'm telling you, I do feel less special. I do feel like I really was going to have this status, but with these drastic changes throughout the year, well, there's nothing I can really do about it. I'm just going to have to continue being the Platinum Medallion for this year. Next year, I believe I may even get an extension into the following year. And the other thing, which is kind of interesting, is the fact that I'm pretty close to becoming a million miler with Delta Airlines, which means that once I get to that point, I will be given gold status for the rest of my life, which also means that I do not have to spend any money at all with Delta Airlines to get to gold status. And the fact is that each year I only spend enough now to really get to gold status, but I really don't have to do that anymore. So I'll probably be flying Delta even less. So all of my flights are 100% personal flights. No one is paying for my flights. I'm not being asked to fly anywhere by somebody. I'm doing this all because I have to do this particular flying. It's mostly for family reasons between New York City and Florida. And I can make my own schedule whenever I want to fly back and forth. And I'm telling you, in the past, I was flying Delta Airlines a lot more just so I can get to medallion status levels that are super, super high, like Diamond Medallion, and get those first class upgrades, etc. It's not happening anymore. At this point, I'm taking flights that are further apart from each other. In the past, I would also try to take connecting flights, maybe stop in Atlanta or some other city just to get more flights out of it or spend more money. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm spending less and less money as time goes by. So Delta is kind of really discouraged me from spending more money. Yes, Delta will still be the primary airline that I fly on. I think I'll always fly in Delta, especially for the fact that I'll be a million miler pretty soon. I'll have this gold status for life. But I don't feel as special with the gold status as I used to when I would put in the extra effort and put in the extra money to fly Delta Airlines to get to being a Diamond Medallion member. It's an interesting story. One thing you may have noticed on my channel is that my dad has been introduced to the channel recently, and he has been doing a lot of the flying back and forth. He's doing more flying. It puts less flying time on me specifically back and forth. And the very, very interesting thing about him is that Delta Airlines earlier this year gave him complimentary silver medallion status. So they're actually trying to lure him into the airline by getting to silver status for free and continue flying with Delta. So he loves the free silver status on Delta Airlines because he does not have to pay for a bag. He did put himself on the upgrade list a couple of times, but he was literally at the very bottom of the list. So really the only benefit that he sees are special seats that he can select, as well as being able to check a bag for free. And he almost always checks a bag when he travels. But that's it. The question is, why did Delta actually select him to try to get to give him medallion status when he really was not a big spender at all with Delta Airlines? He actually didn't even come close to the silver medallion spending thresholds for the year. Doesn't really make much sense at all. So a few other things that I want to discuss is that sometimes, and I don't often share this on my channel, I am traveling with other people. And I've been traveling with one person in particular who has been a gold medallion for many, many, many years. The reason why that person is a gold medallion is because they've spent X amount of money on Delta Airlines. However, next year, this person will have zero status at all because this person does not have a Delta branded credit card. And that person is actually not even eligible for a Delta branded credit card. So going from gold, having mid-level medallion status, to having nothing at all is quite a drastic change. This person is now going to have to pay for their bag fees. They won't get all the special benefits that a gold medallion will get. And that's all because of the fact that that person does not have the credit card. So the only spending that went toward the medallion qualification dollars is the spending that occurred by spending money on Delta flights. Now, to put everything into perspective, I'm going to read directly off of the Delta website. To get to silver medallion, it's a $5,000 spend a year. Gold is $10,000, platinum is $15,000, and diamond is $28,000 per year. And to get these earnings, you can earn one medallion qualification dollar for $1 spent on the ticket price for a Delta marketed flight operated by Delta or one of our partner airlines. And you can also get medallion qualification boosts to get you closer to the next level of medallion status by earning one medallion qualification dollar for each $20 of eligible purchases on your Delta SkyMiles Platinum or Platinum Business Card. That's exactly what I have. I have a Platinum card. Now, if I had a Delta SkyMiles Reserve or Reserve Business Card, I would get one medallion qualification dollar for each $10 of eligible purchases. Mine is currently $20. But again, I don't want to spend any more because it's just not attainable anymore. So the only thing I can think of is that I'm saving a lot of money by doing this. Delta also has an option to allow you to go beyond the flight, book your next vacation getaway, and earn one medallion qualification dollar per $1 spent on your total package price. Well, I just have not been in a situation where I needed to use Delta Vacation specifically, so I'm losing out on that. And even if I did, I don't think I'd be spending that much money. So in the end, it's just really a situation that I can't help. I don't feel special, but I feel better because I am saving a lot of money. That's my Delta story right now for 2024. It was an interesting year. I really see Delta as pushing themselves as being a very, very premium product. As a matter of fact, they use the word premium all the time. And when I see things like this new Delta One Lounge at Kennedy Airport or any other airport, I think, gee, they're really, really, really pushing for the big spenders and luxury, and me being pushed down a level, I'm just not into it anymore. And in a way, I'm taking some of these lessons into real life with the way I spend my own personal money and not worrying so much about things that are premium or luxury anymore, and really focusing on how I can save money and enjoying the experience the way it is. And that's what my channel is all about. Enjoying your flight for the flight itself, not about the extra legroom seats, not about the fancy food that you're going to receive in first class or anything like that. It's really about the flight from a flight perspective by having a window seat, looking out the window, and basically ignoring what's going on in the cabin. I think that is the best way to emphasize equality among all the airlines and make yourself a happier person. I know I'm just happy in knowing that I do that. Yes, I will be on Delta airplanes in the future. At this point, I have 0 booked because I'm just not encouraged to spend more money, but it will happen. Again, I personally, this is my own personal situation, I personally have the flexibility to pick flights when I want to, and I'm just not flying as much because there's no need to anymore, because Delta Airlines is just not really going to allow me to get to these very, very high levels of status. So pretty soon I'll be a gold medallion for life. I've got maybe around 30,000 more miles or so. Taking it easy. I'm not rushing with it, and I am still trying to find the best airfare before I get to that point. What are your thoughts on Delta Airlines? Were you in the same situation as me? Were you a Diamond Medallion reduced to a Platinum Medallion? Were you a Gold Medallion reduced to a Sky Miles member? What do you feel about this? How are you handling it? What are your particular thoughts? Let me know in the comments section below. So I will be posting more flight videos. This is not the end or anything at all. This channel is going to continue on just as it has been, but from time to time, I do like to just talk to the camera to tell you my thoughts are about specific things. Well, thank you so much for watching. And if you want to see some of those really, really unique flight videos, don't forget to click on that subscribe button below, hit the bell button, hit the like button, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Thanks, everybody.